Hi everyone, how are you? I'm Becky, your APS Employee Wellness Coordinator. This is a recap in what we're doing right now in our Thrive in 2025 initiative. This is the Reclaiming Health and Harmony. We're going to do it once and for all. So we are in the emotional wellspring for energy management. So as you know, we're following along four wellsprings for energy management to reclaim health and harmony so we can thrive in 2025. We started the month, April. It's Stress Awareness Month. So it was very applicable with our emotional wellspring to kind of tie that into stress. So we started with stress, identifying stress, the physical signs of stress, the chronic conditions that are results of stress left unmanaged, and then triggers of stress, and then how to reframe stress, how to kind of walk it back a little bit, step away, some practices around stress management and burnout. And now we've moved into the interpersonal communication, conscious communication. And the reason is because one of the number one causes of workplace stress is interpersonal communication, how we react and respond to others. So, and everybody's like, well, why is this such a big deal? Well, we spend 8 to 10 hours or more a day at work. So not only do we want to have a culture of belonging, encouragement, and respect, but we want to work on those soft skills of communication so that we can mitigate the stress that we feel from the lack of communication or the types of communication we may be giving or receiving, again, because we're givers and receivers of information. And that's the one thing that we're starting to touch on this week. This week we're talking last week, I should say. Last week we were talking about conscious communication. Were you conscious about your communication, just whether you were stress escalating and those emotional states of well-being, rushing, hurriedness, fatigue, and anger, complacency, those emotional states that sometimes kind of take us out of our rational brain, and kind of the hijack of the amygdala brain happens, right? So when we're tired and we're rushing, or we haven't served our physical well-being through proper nutrition and rest, our emotional brain, the amygdala, hijacks that rational brain, and we react and respond to people in ways that are not kind, that we may have to walk back, things that we may say or do that we regret later. So we started talking about that and how our emotional states affect how we communicate and how we receive information. So it's important to recognize that sometimes it's us, y'all. Sometimes we have to take a step back and go, am I in a stress state? Do I have some sort of bias around the information I'm receiving? And that's causing me to think about it in a certain way. And then we're going to respond to it. And then we perpetuate this cycle of misinformation, miscommunication, stress. So we want to try to kind of stop it in its tracks and walk it back and identify there's different types of interpersonal communications. There's reasons why sometimes we just don't get along with others, and that's okay. We're not going to get along with everyone that we work with. However, we should be respectful and we should be kind, and we should seek to understand other people's point of view so that we can build the bridges of communication so that our workplace is more harmonious and not so toxic. That's the endeavor of these couple of weeks into the communication aspect of our stress, our well-being, and our workplace culture, because it's absolutely connected. And when you ask employees, because we have surveyed them here, but also national surveys show that interpersonal conflict and communication gaps, lack of understanding, that sort of thing, is one of the highest causes of workplace stress. And we want to work on that. So this week we're talking about nonverbal communication, because we can't read tone and intention in a text or email, yet we do all the time. We will misinterpret what something is written, and we'll kind of take it a certain way. And so the encouragement this week is to step back and ask clarifying questions. Also, we're developing our emotional awareness around our own mindset. Am I taking it this way because I'm stressed, because I'm frustrated with something? And so we're kind of reading it in a way that maybe it wasn't meant to be intended. The other aspect to that is people have different styles of communication. And so that is a really important way, especially when it comes to texting and email. And when we think about texting and email in today's age with a multi-generational workforce, Different people have a different way of using text and email. Some are much more formal, others are much more brief. And so, depending on who you are and how you're feeling that particular day, you could misinterpret that communication. So, it's important to take those things in consideration before we allow ourselves to kind of escalate into stress or escalate into a response that could cause more conflict. That's what we're working on this week. And then next week, we're going to talk about the styles of communicators. We have four communication styles, or four types of communicators, and we have some sub personalities in there. And then also where conflict emerges around that in organizational structures. This week, I just gave the group interpersonal conflict type of communicators. So there's some subtle differences between interpersonal conflicts, the reasons why we might just not get along with others. And that's okay. But I feel like we should still try to be kind and respectful and professional and build those bridges because it helps everyone that we work with when we are able to do that. Because remember, our stress seeps out into others. And if you're having conflict with another employee, that affects your team around you. So it's not just you, it's not just them, other people are affected. And if we want to build a culture of belonging and respect and encouragement, we want to consider other people in the mix, right? So that's what we're kind of getting into this week and next week. This whole idea of this workplace well-being and how we communicate and feelings as well as the other person on the other end. So stick with APS Employee Wellness. All the information is down below, so I'm not going to bore you with those details. Just join us on Wellness at Work. If you have any questions, you can email me. That information is down below too. So take good care of your health today. Breathe, step back, pause, slow down, and take time to really enjoy your life today.